Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time we're talking episode 8 of season 3 of The Legend of Korra called The Terror Within, which sounds oddly like it could be a title of an episode of the old 60s Star Trek. And, honestly, I don't really think that's the most fitting title they could have given this episode, but, whatever. So let's just kind of get right into things. And this is our big chance to for us to see the Korra and her friends take on Zahir and his gang, who are apparently called the Red Lotus, which is an interesting name, and it very much shows that they're some sort of have a philosophical contrast with the White Lotus. Personally, I think it's just more fun to call them the Legion of Doom, so that's what we're gonna do. Ooh, no, better. The Frightful Four. Yeah, let's go with that. The Frightful Four. If you're not familiar with comic books, that's a group of villains who are enemies of the Fantastic Four. So yeah, the Frightful Four it shall be. Anyway, one thing. So this is our big Team Avatar versus the Frightful Four with some help from the folks at the Metal Clan in the Metal Clan. And what I like about this fight is, one, it's really action-packed, really intense, but this is the first time that the Frightful Four have gone up against anybody they did not give a pretty good butt-kicking to, and that included Zuko and Kaya. So it really does, one, serve to show that the Metal Clan are... Well, they do have a good. There's a reason why people call Zhaofu, the safest city around. These guys live up to their billing. They are serious contenders. And really, it's only through just being busting out some really crazy moves and having an ally on the inside that really makes the Frightful Four getting away possible. So I like that they've shown that these villains are very capable, but here's where we take a step back and show, yeah, these guys are good, but they're not invincible. So, points to the show for balancing things out like that. Actually, before we go any further on, I guess I should take a moment to talk about the news that's got a lot of people flipping out, and that's that this is the last episode that's going to be aired on TV, and that Korra from now on is just going to be available online at nick.com and a few other things. Now, there was some clarification about all of this at Comic-Con the other day, and basically the guys behind the show said Korra has been doing phenomenal online, but in terms of TV, it's only doing okay. So basically Nickelodeon decided, well, let's just sort of go with the trend and just put the show exclusively online, and they can just, show some more SpongeBob SquarePants reruns, I guess, or whatever. And I mean, if you're watching this, you obviously have access to the internet, so I don't really think this is going to be a huge inconvenience for a lot of fans, because while 8 p.m. on Friday is fine for the show's younger viewers, folks like myself and other older fans, we tend to be doing things on Friday night. Now, the last few weeks I've had Fridays free for various reasons, so I was able to do those live tweets. But, again, the whole thing of, most of the people watching it online at a time that's more convenient for them, this is really just kind of the way TV is going to be in the future, and I think we just have to sort of accept that the times they are changing. The days of the Nielsen box and all that other stuff are going the way of the dodo. So I don't really think that this is going to mean a huge deal in the long run. I mean, certainly season 4 is still on track. The show's creators, Dante and all of them, have said, yeah, we're already, season 4 is chugging along just fine. This doesn't change anything. So, okay, now that that's said, let's kind of go back to talking about the show. Not a huge amount to say about what's going on with Korra herself this episode, as she spends a good majority of the episode unconscious. We get some more really fun scenes with Varric, and I do like that they're keeping him around. Him as sort of You don't want to, in terms of TV tropes terminology, token evil teammate. Well, Varric's not really evil. He's just very morally ambiguous. Varric does seem to want to do good at the end of the day, but his definition of good is often strange and often self-serving. But he's certainly not evil. He's not a villain by any real stretch of the imagination. Just, again, not someone like, say, Admiral Zhao. Again, just a sort of a morally questionable person, but who does seem to, for the most part, seem to have taken Korra's side. And one does have to admit, everything he says about, how that guard was framed is completely true. And it's just great that he does frame that in the case of, hey, that's pretty much what I did to Mako. On the other hand, while hilarious, it was also a chance to sort of have Mako bust out his detective skills and show that, hey, I've learned some useful stuff while I was a cop. Not a whole lot to say about Aiwei being the one that betrayed Sue. Just goes to show, though, that whatever philosophy the Frightful Four are selling, they're not the only ones that believe in it. And this just makes me more and more curious as to what exactly it is that these guys are trying to get accomplished. They, for some reason, really, really want to get their hands on Korra, but again, the big question is why? What do they hope to possibly accomplish? They tried to kidnap her when she was a kid. Now they're trying to get her now that she's, well, a teenager, but probably about legally an adult at this point. So somehow I have a feeling it's probably not like, well, let's sit Korra down and have a talk and see if we can get her on board with our ideas. And if that's not the case, then it would most likely have something to do with her abilities as the Avatar. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see. And not really much else to say about Aiwei. I did like Sue's just really flipping out about the whole thing. Anne Heche really brought it in that scene. Of course, Anne Heche is kind of known for being a little in real life, but well, that's what she has a reputation for. We'll just leave it at that. Still, we also get to see a little bit more advancement on the whole Bolin's front in terms of his character growth. He's still struggling with the metal bending, but we do get a reminder, like when he takes out Pili, or however in the world you say her name, Combustion Girl, in the same way that Sokka, nailed Combustion Man. I did like that. For all his goofing around, Bolin is still a pretty darn good Earthbender, and that the skills he picked up as a Probender do have their combat uses. So again, Bolin's good. He's quite good. It's just he's one of those people that's constantly surrounded by people who, like Korra, who are better than he is at things. And that really robs his confidence. But if Bolin can kind of get that confidence back, or improve his confidence, I guess I should say, then he's got some really amazing potential locked within him. And that's kind of why I think that before the season is out, we might get to see Bolin run into Toph. Sorry, there's a bug on my leg. Hazards of recording outside. So, kind of getting trained by the original metal bender herself, and someone he has stated is his personal hero. Well, wow, that would be some really amazing stuff. And I do like that little scene where Varric tries to give Bolin some advice, and Bolin, showing his character growth, has the sense not to pretty much ignore him. I continue to be a little disappointed that we haven't really been seeing very much from Asami lately. I mean, she does have some lines this episode, but her contribution to things is pretty minimal, which is kind of disappointing. But I have a feeling that she's going to step up as the season wears on, and show that she still has what it takes to mix it up with the best of them. And oh yeah, one other thing that I wanted to say before we wrap up is that I'm really, really loving Henry Rollins as Zahir. I was joking during the Twitter live tweet of this episode that the Frightful Four should just sort of drop the whole whatever it is they're trying to accomplish and go out and form a band. I mean, just look at the way these guys actually look when they're all together. They look like they could be an opening act for Gwar. I mean, seriously, these guys, if they like, give them guitars and some drums and some stuff, and they'd be like a perfect fit for the Warped Tour or something. But anyway, what's great about Henry Rollins is, if you've ever seen him in real life, he is a big dude, but he's also an extremely intelligent, very, very, very articulate man. I mean, this is a guy who's read a lot. He's an absolutely amazing public speaker. I mean, just seriously, just go out and watch some of those videos of him talking about his ideas that are floating around out there. And yeah, so him as Zahir is a really, really good fit. And also, it's kind of fun knowing that this is not the first time he's done villain work in animation. If you might remember, he was the voice of Johnny Rancid on the Teen Titans cartoon from some years back. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about this episode. Again, another solid episode, but I think they're kind of stretching out just what in the world are the Frightful Four trying to accomplish a little too much. But anyway, guys, sadly this does mean that I will no longer be doing live tweets of Legend of Korra. Like, I'm not even sure I'd have the proper time anymore anyway, so whatever. But whatever happens, I will continue to do video reviews for the series. And until next time, take care and have a good one.